It's the top of the second inning here from the Albuquerque Sports Stadium on Retro Night. Las Vegas 2, Albuquerque 1. Josh Suchon with you here from the Carlos Salazar Memorial Press Box. And one of the guys who were out here enjoying tonight, Paul Konerko, one of the 2016 members of the Albuquerque Professional Baseball Hall of Fame, joins me inside the radio booth. Paul, thanks for joining me. How about this view?
Yeah, this is great. Wow, this is a beautiful stadium they built here. I mean, it's I know there's a lot of nice minor league parks now, but this has got to be one of the better ones. This is nice.
So we'll be visiting with Paul here as Las Vegas and Albuquerque play the second inning here in Game 2 of the series. Eric Kraus is at the plate. He takes the first pitch inside for ball 1-0. Well, we talked on the pregame show, and I don't want to cover a lot of the same stuff, so I figured we'd kind of cover some of the other stuff about your career. And one of the things that I found really fascinating as Jordan Lyles delivers the 1-0 that is taken for a ball. Tell us first about the transition from catcher to first base.
You know, it was kind of welcomed at that point. I was scuffling behind the plate and had some issues going on with my hips, and it was, you know, a combination of painful, you know.
The 2-0 is ripped down the right field line and just foul.
A combination of not being really good back there, associated with some pain to be not really good back there. So when they said I could play first, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, kind of a sense of relief almost. And my first year was in San Antonio in Double-A, and as soon as I got over there, it was, you know, I felt like a ton of bricks off my shoulders. Like, it was easy to play the game, and my bat took off. And then I kind of went to third the next year here, and that made it a little bit challenging again because, you know, third's harder than first. And but ultimately, I knew deep down I was a first baseman. It was just they were trying to fit me into different spots and see what I could do, you know.
The 2-1 is taken inside for ball 3-1. I still can't believe the story you told about how Chip Hale, a teammate, was working on the infield dirt before games. He was watering it. He was raking the infield. I've never heard of a player working on the dirt himself before batting practice.
Well, you didn't see the dirt. If you would have seen it, it definitely called for it. But, yeah, for the player to actually take action, no, that's Chip. I mean, Chip was a stickler for the details. And, you know, it's funny. You see things like that, and it's no coincidence a guy like that is now a manager of a big league baseball team. Like, there's guys that care about that kind of stuff. You know, that's the type of things that'll take you a long way in this game.
Eric Kraus has walked. He's at first base as the number 8 hitter Kyle Johnson steps to the plate. 2-1, Las Vegas leading Albuquerque here in the second inning as we visit with Paul Konerko. Johnson did not play in yesterday's game. And this is his 13th at AAA this year, a right-handed batter. He shows bunt. He takes outside for ball 1-0. So when you get traded from the Dodgers to the Reds, I always like finding out where exactly were you and what was your thought, especially knowing that some guy named Eric Karros is playing first base for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, when I got traded to the Reds, it was July 4th, 1998. I was with the Dodgers. We were in San Francisco, and
1-0's a ground ball. I was going to let you call the double play. 6-4-3 double play. Reyes to Bianchi to Paulson, and the leadoff walk is wiped away.
Those are the kinds of double plays when I'd come in from the dugout from first base. I would tell the guys in the middle, that's a great double play. We turned.
Backhanded by Reyes, a good pivot by Bianchi, and then you just stand there at first base.
First baseman clearly had the toughest job there. You know, they were trying to, like I said, I had such a great year in AAA the year before, and I mean, the Dodgers were doing everything they could to try to get me on the field. I wasn't helping by not really hitting that great either. And it was one of those things where I think they were hanging around 6-7 games back of being in a playoff spot. And, you know, it's the standard every year you see it. It's the trade for a veteran for prospects, you know.
The 0-1 hit into right field and a diving catch by Jordan Patterson. And that'll end the inning. So a quick top of the second inning. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll visit more with Paul Konerko. Nothing to cross for Las Vegas. We go to the bottom of the second. It's Las Vegas 2, Albuquerque 1. And this is Albuquerque Dukes baseball on 610, the Sports Animal.
Congratulations. You've just won a free haircut from Great
Is the microphone in a spot where it's...
partner of the Albuquerque Dukes. Great Clips. It's going to be great. Delta Dental of New Mexico now offers individual dental plans. Sign up today to get fully insured dental benefits for you and your family without needing to go through an employer. Get covered by a Delta Dental individual plan. Visit mysmilecoverage.com/NM. Now let's take it down to the field for Orbit's Dizzy Bat Race, presented by New Mexico Sports and Wellness. Take it away, Dylan.
That's right, fans. It's time for the New Mexico Sports and Wellness Orbits Dizzy Bat Race. I got Laura and her boyfriend John. They're going to do some jumping jacks, race on down to these bats, get nice and dizzy, then run on back. First one to cross the finish line is going to win a month membership to New Mexico Sports and Wellness. All right, guys, on your mark, get set, 5 jumping jacks. Here we go. Oh, Laura is high intensity. I think some jewelry's flying off. There she goes. You guys just keep going on those bats, all right? Keep going. Faster, people. All right, there we go. And oh, no, not yet. Oh, okay, let's run. Just run. There we go. You know, even though John got there first, I kind of liked Laura's intensity the whole time. I think she's the winner.
The ABQ Biopark invites you to see their biggest new exhibit for their smallest creatures, bugs. Experience the Bugarium at the Botanic Garden, where you'll encounter fascinating insects from around the world.
2-1 is the score. Las Vegas leads Albuquerque as we start the bottom of the second. Josh Suchon with you alongside Paul Konerko, one of 2 inducted into the Albuquerque Professional Baseball Hall of Fame. And so we're visiting with Paul here. And so, Paul, we were talking about how you got traded from the Dodgers to the Reds in 1998. And so there you go there, and now you go from Eric Karros is blocking you to now Sean Casey's blocking you, but they wanted to see if you could, how you could do at third base and left field.
Yeah, that didn't take long. I got traded there, and I knew it was a little bit odd because I'm like, they don't have a DH, and no DH in the National League. Sean was at first, but I was excited to kind of be with a team that they weren't a very good team. There was a young team, and I was like, okay, there could be some opportunity here. Actually got off to a really good start. I think the first weekend I was with them, I hit a couple home runs, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And it just didn't go there either. I think part of it was, again, just trying to find the right fit. A lot of times, especially with a young player, the offense, I think, is connected to the defense if something's weighing on you like that. I just never felt comfortable out in the field, and, it was kind of one would feed the other, negative-wise, and it was until I got traded to the to the White Sox from the Reds, and had a chance to either DH or play first, and that was kind of what they just told me. Like, listen, we know you're a first baseman, and that's what we know you can hit enough if you just get going, and maybe feel comfortable, and that was that.
Jordan Patterson is at the plate. He's the number 6 hitter in the Dukes lineup tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count. And here's the pitch from Montero. And that is hit in the air to right field. Travis Tyrone goes over toward right center, reaches up, makes a one-handed catch, and is one away. So once you get to Chicago, did Frank Thomas feel threatened, or did he think, okay, we got another guy who can hit here in this lineup, because you and him are going back and forth between first and DH?
No, I would say he was threatened. I mean, at that point, I was just kind of like a young punk that hadn't done anything yet. So, I think my first year, me and another guy split a lot of time at DH, and Frank still played first. And I think in 2000 was kind of like where the switch started happening, where I started playing a little more first. And then Frank got injured in 2001, I believe, was gone from maybe like June on. And that's kind of where I really started playing a lot of first. And at that point, it was, I became kind of the first baseman there. And it was good. It was a good run. I mean, it was just the city and the fan base and the team. And it kind of just all was a good fit for me,
Jeff Bianchi's at the plate, right-handed batter. The 1-1 pitch is fouled off on the right side and out of play, and it's 1-2. How often do White Sox fans go before they will tell you about your grand slam?
Well, I think to date, there's about 346,000 people that were in the stadium that night. I get so many people that I was there that night. But it was a big moment.
1-2 pitch is a ground ball to second off the glove of Herrera. Throw to first, not in time, and Bianchi is safe at first base.
That's a hit I never knew. If you didn't get out of the infield, I was out.
Dukes, the catcher, number 52, Tony Walter.
That was a great moment in the city. Great. That was the loudest I ever heard that stadium. And I don't really remember too much of the actual moment of hitting the grand slam around the base. I remember being back out on defense right after it, because I think the next guy made a quick out, and there was 2 outs. And, it's the playoffs, so there's these long commercial timeouts, like, 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it is, long. And I just remember, just looking up, it was a cold, sleet, rain, like a wintry type of night. But the stands were just, it was like the place was absolutely like a wave of, like, everything just moving. And I just remember thinking, because at that point I had played, I think that was my 7th year with the team, and I just never had seen that stadium and that type of situation. It was a pretty proud moment.
1 on, 1 out. Tony Walters, the catcher, is at the plate.
And then we blew the lead, and then we had to come back and win in extra innings, which was still great. But
here's the 1-0 pitch to the Dukes catcher. It's taken for a ball. For all the talk about the Red Sox drought and the Cubs drought, the White Sox drought was enormous at that time too. How did that feel to finally get a World Series after all those years for the White Sox?
I mean, it's the highlight of my career. I mean, winning a World Series would have been anyways, but winning a World Series with the context it was in Chicago, and having both teams chasing it for as many years.
Runner goes. It's
nice.
A bunt up the third base line. Excellently executed. No throw from Campbell. That's a base hit for Walters. And there's runners at first and second. I don't know if that was a bunt and run, if that was designed, or if it just worked out that way. But Tony Walters drops down an excellent bunt up the third base line.
That was a great bunt right there. Smart play. Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, when I was with the White Sox, I knew when I got there that there was this chase, like both teams are chasing this kind of holy grail thing, and which one's going to get it first. And I think everybody just assumed that when it happened, it was going to be the Cubs, not the White Sox, because everybody loves the Cubs, right? And so to be on the team that got there first, it's a super proud moment because, you think about it, 80-something years before, that's not even like the real world back then. I mean, 80 years ago, what's the same 80 years ago as it is now? So people were just wondering what would it look like with this city winning a World Series. So to be part of that and be on the other, the end of winning it, it was awesome.
Jordan Lyles, the pitcher, is at the plate. He bunts foul behind home plate.
I mean, the Cubs could win this year. The White Sox could win another one. It won't be the same as what that was because there was just so much intrigue on that city winning one after so long. And I don't think it was the same in regard to like with the Red Sox and all that. The White Sox in typical fashion usually fly under the radar, and they always are kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit because of the Cubs and whatever reason. But I think if you ask White Sox fans and you ask the players that have played for them, that's just fine with them.
The 1-1 is bunted in the air and foul behind home plate, 1-2. Do you almost thrive off being the underdog, the team that flies under the radar in that city?
I mean, I did. I identified with that. I mean, my job. I mean, I didn't want to be a celebrity. I wanted to be a baseball player, and there was a big difference. I mean, you see a lot of guys nowadays that maybe want to be the first, and teams themselves. It's kind of that's not the group of guys we had there. That wasn't me, and I don't think it's our fans. So that's why I said I think it was just a good fit.
The 1-2 pitch is bunted foul, and so Jordan Lyles has struck out, unable to get the bunt down. There's 2 on and 2 out now for Rafael Inoa.
But just, I mean, like I said, it was the highlight. I mean, I got to do a lot of great things in my career, all-star games and home runs and this and that, and all of them are such a distant second to winning the World Series. Like nothing's even in the same stratosphere as like the feeling of winning a World Series.
So you're telling me off air about what you do these days. How much interest do you have in getting back into baseball at any level?
I would say as I'm sitting here, not any at all. I'm still a little burned out from playing, and that's a good thing. I feel like if you can finish your career burned out, that's a good thing. That means you gave everything you had, and you just got nothing left, and it doesn't mean it can't come back. But I think, in my situation, I got 3 young kids, and I'm still shaking off some bone bruises, I think, from playing. So I'm not looking to jump back out. I was watching these coaches down there hitting fungos and this and that today, and I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't look too fun to me.
The 1-0 is a bouncing ball to the second baseman. Herrera's got it, throws to first base, inning over. Paul, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for coming to Albuquerque. This has been awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Once again, that is Paul Konerko. He was inducted into the Albuquerque Professional Baseball Hall of Fame today.